website right now and download my free course on alternate picking mastery. It contains 5 essential exercises that will take you to alternate picking mastery faster than you can imagine. And then I've included my method of how to lay out a practice plan in just 1 to 2 minutes that will absolutely boost your results like nothing you ever tried before. So go download it right now. It's free. Hey, so this kind of sound that I'm producing now is basically just the minor scale. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to really amp up that exotic sound so you can pull out your nylon string guitar and basically just play cage shapes, you know, minor, if you know those, and then you can really spice them up by doing something very simple. And this really is using a ton of scales in one, but you're using it on a very small level. I'm just going to show you close up in a second here. But what we're talking about basically is, like, say I have an A minor in the background, and I'm playing the A minor scale, right? But I'm doing it with a focus on the A minor arpeggio, right? So I can hit the notes of the chord there in the background. And that sounds pretty, it sounds pretty, right? I can basically walk from a chord note to another chord note using the scale as, right? Or, so if I had that arpeggio with the scale in the bottom of it, then I have a pretty cool tool. But let's make that a little bit darker. And we can do that by using some cool notes. And I'm not going to play any other scales than the minor scale. I'm just going to use a couple of tricks, like, right? Or, right? Sounds almost Italian, right? Like, or, right? So let's look into how I do this. And this is really simple. You can learn this in just 1 minute, just by watching the video, remembering a couple of little rules, and then you'll be off doing this. And then, you know, let's get back to a full view here in a second once I've showed you this. And we can talk about how to actually practice this so it becomes a habit of yours whenever you play that nylon string acoustic. So let's look at it. We're basing this on the A minor scale here in the 5th fret. This is the 5th fret. We have no dots on this fretboard, so, and I have the first position cage shape laid out here. And I strongly advise you to go download the charts and the tabs by clicking the link below the video if you haven't already done so. And what we have up here, we have to forget about notes. We have to forget about what notes we're playing and then look at the visual shape of what we're playing instead. And here on the top string, I have the combination of a whole tone and a semitone. And when I have this specific combination anywhere on the neck, on any string, I can do 2 things to get that exotic sound. I can go down 1 semitone from the 1st finger here. So I can include that. So let's just play an A minor here. All right, we have the chord notes here. The notes that really sound home, you know, a scale note here, and then that exotic, right? And if I want it to sound very in or home, I have to use this as a passing note, right? Right? And I can do another thing. I can take the note one semitone above the first finger here. So I get that chromatic little thing here. Instead of having this, I get, right? So now I'm actually using, I have like 5 notes here on this string. So these 3 notes become 5, all right? So, but I still have, but then I can go, right? This is important to understand. I just go into this. I'm not using every, because, okay, Klaus, we got like 5 notes on this string. Then that's just, that's my new scale. No, it's a matter of, seeing this as a multi-layered thing. I got my chord notes. You don't have to know those, but your ear will find them pretty rapidly if you're playing that A minor in the background. Because they sound really good. They sound home, right? Have that scale note right there. So this is one world you're in. This is another world. And then you go back into the first world again. And then back into the first world. Then you have a third world. And then back into the first again. Right? So you move here. And then you go back to here. Right? You don't go and just use all 5 notes like they're one scale. That's the power of tools, that you go in and out of them like that. So let's just have a little bit of fun with that again. That's the first tool, and then, right? I'm just going up and down, or just down, or up, and ending on a note that sounds like it's home, right? And back to the first, right? Then the next one, next string, sorry, I just have to make that not saying anything. The next string is like a semitone. It's not like a semitone. It's a semitone and a whole tone stacked on top of each other. And if you have this combination anywhere in the scale, anywhere in any cage shape or 3-note per string shape, what you do is that you can move up 1 semitone from your 4th finger. Or you can simply skip the normal note in your 4th finger and go for this. Alright? Or you can include it. Right? And you can do the same thing as we did up here. We can go, you can take from the first finger, you can go down 1 semitone. Right? And that sounds right? So a nice little tool here again. And as I said, you can do this anywhere. Anywhere you have. Doesn't matter where you are on the scale. You don't have to think about notes, just think about the shape. Yeah? Then the next, if you take this cage shape, first position, you have the same combination of notes again, semitone and whole tone, but in the 4th, 5th, and 7th fret. So you can do the same thing. Let's just do that with, right? This is the G string right there. So both strings. Just listen, there's a simple little technique here, trick, you might say. And you have a whole different array of sounds you can use. The next one, when we're talking cage shapes, you have this whole tone step, this lonely whole tone step, where you only have 2 notes on 1 string, and we do that in cage shapes to preserve the very vertical shape. Because if you don't have if you don't do this, then you'll move into 3 note per string, and you'll have 2 whole tones on 1 string, which is what we're trying to avoid when we use K shapes. But so you have this, and whenever you have 2 notes on 1 string in a K shape, you can go. This is the raised 7th of the harmonic minor. So you simply take the first note on that string, 5 and 7, and move it up 1 semitone. Gives you that, right? So that works really well as well. Right? And then the last 2 notes, or strings here, has the same configuration of notes as on the top string, so you can go. Right? So there you have it. And you just, if you want to do the next K shape, you have the same little things here. We got, right? Oh, it's totally different. Wrong scale. You have 2 notes here, right? In the next shape, next string. You have whole and semi, right? So, really easy. See if you can memorize these by just playing around with it right now. You know, record an A minor and then see if, okay, first string, second string, and then move it up. You know, have fun with it. So how do we become very good at using these tricks? And I don't really like that word because this is not like little things. This is really something you can base your whole Spanish approach on. Like it's really cool to learn all the other tools, but this is really like an essential, central thing that I return to over and over and over again. But you need to make it part of your natural playing. A place you go just naturally and automatically without thinking about it. And the only way to get there is to use it over and over again. So how do we do that? Well, if you look at any minor key, and most of this music, right, is in minor. We got 7 chords, and you want to look that up on Wikipedia or the internet just to, look to the theory behind it. But we got 7 different chords, and we got the main chord, which is of course in the key of A minor, would be the A minor, and then you got the dominant chord, which is built from the 5th step of the A minor scale, which is an E major. Changes the A minor scale to the A harmonic minor. You don't have to go into that right now, but the lesson here is to just start with the A minor. Right? And you need a looper pedal if you don't have one already. So go out and buy one instantly. You can buy a real cheap one. So, right? And you build your lines here on the A minor scale and the A minor arpeggio on top of each other in any one of the 5 K shapes or 3 note per string, whatever shapes you're used to using. And then you put in these little embellishments in between. So you might go. This is just 2 chord notes, 5 and 8 on the high E string, and then I have one in the middle there. So I use that a little raised 7th there. So I experiment with just these 3 notes here and this chord, right? And I can do the other one. Just that sounded a little bit out. Let me see if I can. Right? Then I go onto the next string in my little K shape in the 5th fret here. And my chord note, 5th fret. Because this enables me to get used to the sound of what I'm doing here. I got some patterns on the fretboard, but I want to the most used chord or the main chord of the key. Oh, that sounds good to play it a little bit faster. That little chromatic thing. right? Next string. I got this configuration in a semitone, whole tone, as we talked about. Right, and I could go. Right, get used to it. And then once you investigated and researched using your ears and trying to make that stuff work on each string, then you go to another chord. And I recommend that you try the E chord, the E major. Right? Because that's the second most important chord in the key. Now we're up to 2. We only have 7 chords here. We got 5 left. So I'll go. That note there is a chord note. And I want to play the arpeggio up against the A harmonic minor now, but that's... We'll talk about that in another video. And this is really the place where you can use a lot of these notes. Right? Once you've done that with the whole shape, you can go first A minor, right? And then E. Just one string now. Going to E. Next string. Next string. All 3. Right? And then suddenly, when you take a little piece at a time, one string, right? Check out these one of the chords, and then you take the chords together, you piece it together string by string in each of the 5 cage shapes. And I'm not saying you should play the cage shapes. There's nothing wrong with the cage shapes, by the way. Some people say, oh, they limit you. No, they don't. Why would they, if you want to collect the pieces of a puzzle, you want pieces, right? Instead of trying to learn the whole freaking shape at one time across the fretboard, you just chop it up, and 5 shapes is a good chop, right? And then you learn the shapes and you put them together, but people forget to put them together, so they play vertically all the time, right? But there's nothing wrong with the approach of chopping stuff up to learn it. So cut around the cage shapes, right? 3 upper strings are also good, and you might want to check out the Fretboard Freedom program, which is, by the way, also we give you the first part of Fretboard Freedom when you do Fusion Flamenco, which is a huge course that goes totally into this style of music, and every single part of it, Fusion Flamenco. And Fretboard Freedom is also part of that, so you can gain that freedom across the fretboard. And we have a new entity, a new program attached to that right now, which I'm going to talk about in the next video. But for now, please don't see this as like a little giveaway so you can go, and then I can sell you something. This is an actual lesson here that you can use for the rest of your life to get that special flamenco sound. But my job is also to push you to the next level and so on. So I'll see you in the next video tomorrow. Now go download the tabs if you're looking at this on YouTube. The tabs, the charts, the everything, and then go buy a looper pedal if you don't have one already. The cheapest one you can find will be so much better than not having one, and it's such an essential part of practicing. I should say that once you're done with the first and the fourth step chords, you can do the B diminished chord or half diminished. You can do the D minor, right? You can do I just pressed it too early there. You can go. Right? And then you can play over 3 chords, but you take it bit by bit, one step at a time, one chord at a time, one string at a time, one cage shape at a time, and I promise you, you'll get there faster than if you try to eat up the whole piece at once. Subscribe for more free videos. Do it. Do it now. Do it.